Hello, we are
Hello.
live.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. So this is one of Harsh is an Atheist Republic patron, and this is one of from time to time we have some discussions with our patrons on Patreon. By the way, if anybody is a patron and want to have these discussions, link to our Patreon is in the description. That's probably right now the only inbox I check anymore because my Facebook and my email and my Twitter notifications is unusable with the amount of notifications I get. So I make sure that my Patreon inbox is the only inbox that I'm checking. So if you want to reach out and have any discussions like I'm having with Harsh right now, and if you're a Patreon, just reach out to me there. Anyway, so what are we talking about today, Harsh?
Yes. Today, I just would like to complete my remaining explanation on Sanatan Dharma. I was going to explain it before, but I ran out of time. So, if you haven't checked a previous video called
Mm.
Hindu Nationalist something something, I forgot the whole title. Please do
Can we
check
do
that
the
out.
basics? Can we do the basics before? Because some people are not going to go and find that and then come over here. Can we like touch on the basics before we continue?
So my idea was on very simple basics. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
would give you references,
Mm-hmm.
not just you, but also the audiences to find exact text and scriptures and basic references to find more about this. But here's my
Okay.
take on it.
By the way, before
Okay.
we go on, you're a. Would you just? How would you just like? Can you tell people you're a Hindu atheist? Is that fair right now to say? Is that how you describe yourself?
Yes.
A Hindu atheist. Okay,
Yes.
and you're also Hindutva supporter,
Yes.
or yes? Okay, okay. Just to be. I just want to be. People know. This is your view. On this topic based on those okay so yeah what is this concept that in Hinduism that we're talking about, what does it mean?
So I just wanted to give, if you, okay, I have said this before and I'll say it again. If someone was to comprehensively understand Hinduism and not
Mm-hmm.
be selective only for the good parts and only for the bad parts,
Mm-hmm.
considering them both together, what kind of an image that person would come out to have. And my claim before was, I repeat it by just reading my notes. It is the only religion, or for the lack of the better Sanskrit, non-translatable Sanskrit word, dharma, that if you go deep, let's say in a comprehensive reading about it, your perspective about world and understanding about it based on the religious or whatever teachings of Hinduism would be uncertain. That was my kind of like fundamental claims with dharma or Sanatan dharma.
Um, wait, so it's the only religion that if you study it, your basic questions about universe would be answered? Is that what you said? Sorry, you got.
No, no. You would
Uh,
be uncertain. So, like, you would be
uh,
open to finding. You would be a seeker rather than a
uh,
believer. You
okay.
could be a believer too. No, no. I'm not saying that there are no believers in it. But, like, as
Okay.
I said, keyword comprehensive understanding, not just one particular school of thought, but all that comprised
Can
within
you
it.
give an example?
Example, yes, okay.
Hmm.
So here's is interesting. If I remember correctly, sometimes neo atheist or ex Hindus or whatever that label is, I have heard people say, whosoever is, it's just in response to, they think that only the believing darshans, that is to say, schools of thought, or literal translation of darshan would be insight. Only the believing schools of thought comprise or totally explains what Hinduism is. And I am kind of like sick and tired of hearing it again and again. And now I'm going to give references from those believing darshans as well, and also on the obviously non-believing darshans. So what if I just explain what believing and non-believing is, if okay.
That yeah, great. So you have believing Hindus and non-believing Hindus. Okay, that's what. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And if I were to be more accurate, I use the term believing Hindus to explain those people, to explain people who follow those darshans or schools of thought that considers and hold Vedas as a supreme authority, or an authority of something to revere, something to think about, something to have in the background, think like that. So
Mm-hmm,
those
mm-hmm.
schools of thought are called Astik Darshana. Astik, if you just go on Wikipedia, is uh, there is the pop culture or stereotypical understanding of it, and there is a technical understanding of it. Technical understanding says that those schools of thought that believe in Vedas. They consider this
Divine
respected.
revelation.
Kind of, yes, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And there are those schools of thought that rejects Veda. They say that, you know what, it is written in Veda, or whether or not don't think, or we don't look forward to it to find answers to questions in our life. We find it ourselves. Basically, we
Yeah.
reject it, and then whatever we find it ourselves.
Wait,
Then,
that's
then
the non-believing Hindus, right?
yeah,
Is
but
that what it?
then yeah, but that's not that simple, because in believing schools of thought there are multiple diversities of thought. They contradict and disagree with each other. In the same manner, the Nastika darshans, that is opposite of Astik, also disagree with each other. So
Oh
within
my
that,
god.
you have Buddhist, you have Jains,
All
you
right,
have,
let's focus on one topic at a time, okay? We have
but
believing Hindus and non-believing Hindus. Like, let's not go to Buddhists and stuff like that. It's getting like,
no, that is within it. That is within it, because
oh
it
my god.
is not exist in a vacuum. I know. Okay, sorry. If you have disagreement, you can let me know.
No, no, I don't
Yeah.
have disagree. It's just like
Oh.
it's just like I think we need a chart. Do we have a chart? Like,
Can
can
I
we
share my
just
screen?
okay? The believing Hindus, they believe that the Vedas and everything, they're like revelations from God. Okay, what the
Yeah.
hell do non-believing Hindu? What does it mean to be a non-believing Hindu? Can you just describe it? What's the
Exactly.
definition of it?
Yeah. So that would be like comprised within dharma. So anything, any schools of thought that came and originated from this Indian subcontinent over its long
Hmm.
period of existence, how I don't know how many years, that is part of dharma, and those are the, and any
What's
school of thought
dharma?
that rejects it.
That's the
Yeah,
title of
that's
this
a,
video. What is dharma?
yeah,
And is it the way?
yeah.
Right?
So
Is it the it's the
can I
way?
just share
Right?
my one.
Huh?
Can I share one tweet of mine by sharing my screen?
Yes. You go
I have
ahead.
explained dharma. Yeah.
Okay. Share your screen. Yes.
How do I
It says share screen right at the
share
bottom.
screen?
You still haven't
Let me share
defined
one.
non-believing Hindus, but we'll get to that. Okay, here. Let me bring it up. To screen.
Okay. Everyone can see my screen.
Yeah. Okay. Click on it
Um,
if you want.
y-
Click on the tweet that you want to highlight. No,
oh
not
yeah,
on the
sorry.
image.
I'm just trying to find.
Oh,
Yeah, just one moment. I have, because there are like loads of it. Yeah, this one.
okay.
I just took a snippet of it. So
Okay.
just to context, this was like a Subramanian Swami tweet, and I was like retweeting it, what my thoughts were, and someone below in that tweet thread asked me, "Can you share what you mean by dharma?" And so
Oh my
here's my
god.
explanation, and I'll just read it out.
All right.
Dharma.
Click on where it says thank you. Click on that so it makes it. Yep. Click. Oh no, this
Oh
is a
yeah,
screenshot. Never mind. Okay. Click on where
screenshot.
it says hide. Click on where it says hide.
Hide.
Hide. Yes. Okay. There you go.
Oh,
Okay. Go ahead. Read it.
okay. Dharma, my understanding at least, schools of thought, ideologies, customs, and traditions originated in Bharat, which are evolving as time progresses, compatible with science, seeking more than believing, and has mutual respect and reciprocity at its core.
I have a
That's
problem
what
with
Dharma.
this definition. Okay.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
tell you what my problem is with definition? You just described. Wait. Go back. Where are you going? Go back.
Oh, still this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Go back here. So okay. So look at the way you're describing dharma. Okay. This is
Yeah.
your definition of this. Okay. This is not
Mm.
schools of thought, ideologies, custom, and traditions. Okay. That means nothing so far. It's just right. It's just a container right now.
Yeah.
Originated in what is Bharat?
That's
Subcontinent.
yeah.
Okay, which are evolving as time progresses. Okay, so that means like it could be
Changing.
anything, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, so far there's no limiting factor other than is Bharat like the Indian subcontinent? Is that what that Bharat means? What is
Yeah,
Bharat?
Bharat means, yeah, like if you can, if I were to give reference,
Oh
colonized
my god.
India, like Pakistan,
Okay,
Bangladesh,
all right.
India was.
So Indian subcontinent. Okay.
Yeah.
So far you said schools of thought, ideologies, custom, and traditions. So that means nothing. That's just a container. We haven't put anything in this
Mm.
container. The only limiting factor has been that they came out of the Indian subcontinent, because in Bharat, and then you continue to say which are evolving as time progress. So you're saying it doesn't limit to a time. So it's not limited to a time. It's not limited to certain ideologies. So far, it has only been limited to a geography.
Mm-hmm.
Compatible with science. Are you sure
Mm-hmm.
about that? Okay. All right. Compatible with science, seeking more than believing, and has mutual respect and reciprocity at its core. I think you just said the things that. Okay, so the originally at first, I think you were going good. Like originated in Bharat. I think like when it comes to Hinduism, that is like one definition that most people agree with. Is like geographically, it's limited based on geography as the origins of it. But I think then you ended up just adding the things that you like as part of the definition because you just want it to be a good thing or like compatible with science. Like I'm pretty sure that is not a limitation. Like that's not a definition of what the way like my understanding of dharma is like it's the way that everything must go, the way that everything should be, okay, based on Hinduism. That's my understanding of dharma. And now you're defining dharma as something that has to be compatible with science because you like science and you think in the modern world when the scientific method is a modern thing, okay. The scientific method was not something that was celebrated during the time of when Hinduism became a religion, okay, or a way of life, or whatever you want to call it. So the fact that you like the scientific method is because the Enlightenment values and the scientific revolution popularized the scientific method, and because it popularized it so successfully, you like it, and because you're biased towards defending Hinduism, you're adding that definition to the definition of Dharma. That's what I think
Yeah.
is happening.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
So if I were to just go dial back before, I said about the non-believing darshans, and one of them is Charvak darshan. You know, Kushal Mehra, you know, I'm just giving you a point of contact of reference, is a Charvak, and then basically a Charvak is a non-believer. And if I were to give a definition, I will just ask people to go read this book. Here it is, Sarva Darshan Sangra. Can people see this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if I were to just see, translation of it in English, what does it say? Review of the different systems of Hindu philosophy. So do you think this is an enough of a title to give an idea that this book comprises the system that are the systems that are part of Hinduism?
Well, I mean, your definition. Okay, so what's your question? I don't understand the question. Can you explain the question? Elaborate.
So, like, does this title give you an indication that all the systems that are going to be reviewed and mentioned within this book are kind of
I
like
mean,
all the different schools of thought within Hinduism?
I can't judge a book by its title,
Yeah, but
right? I
what
don't
does
know.
it
I don't know if.
indicate? I know.
I
Okay,
mean,
so
I
then
don't
I
know
will
if this
just give
book is.
mine.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I can't really judge what's if anything in this book is accurate, but you go ahead. You tell me.
Correct,
You go
yes.
ahead.
So, yeah. So this book just discusses all the different schools of thought that were prominent in South India in 16th century, and it was written and recorded by Madhav Acharya, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his alternate name. So this
And
is
when
what
was
it
the
is.
book?
And
When was this book written? When was this book written?
16th century. If I were to just give you a reference, just give me one moment.
Oh, eight.
So
Did you
this
said
is like the
18th
condensed
century?
16th.
No, no. The book. You said the book is about 16th century, but when was the book written itself?
I think around that time only.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
just go.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
these are all the pages from this book,
Okay. Okay. So what does
and
this book? What does this book prove?
this book shows all the different schools of thought that were being practiced in southern India during that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Okay. In that time.
And
Okay.
I'm
Good.
during that time, yes. And my claim is that Charvak system kind of
Mm-hmm.
existed since the time even Rig Veda was written. Charvaks existed, and I would like to. This is my speculation. I would give you some verses within Rig Veda that shows influence
Can
of Charvak-like thinking
What is Charvak?
within
Hold
Rigveda.
on.
So
Char.
here, can people see this?
Yes.
Um,
Hold on.
yeah. So
Hold on.
I'll just read it. The Charvak system. That's the first chapter in this book.
Okay, but can we
Um,
actually first define Charvak system? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay, Charvaka holds direct perception, empiricism, and conditional into inference as proper sources of knowledge, embraces philosophical skepticism, and rejects ritualism and supernaturalism. Okay, so yes, this is pretty good. I like this stuff. Okay, somebody in the live chat is asking, is that really part of Hinduism? Okay, how do
yeah,
we?
that's what I wanted to say. That's what I
Hmm.
wanted to touch upon.
Pictures of Jain and Buddhist. Okay, so this was a popular belief system in India before the emergence of Jain and Buddhist tradition. Yeah, and these set of ideas that it promotes, it's really good. Philosophical skepticism. Wow, yeah, it rejects ritualism and supernaturalism. Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, I actually heard about who was this? Somebody else told me about all this.
Subin?
And the last time somebody brought this up, I told them that these people, these philosophers, sound like my people, not your people. Like Hindus were trying to claim these for themselves, and I was like, this. I don't know why you think this is your people. So why is this? Why is this part of Hinduism?
Yeah, because I said before, only the bad part, supernatural part, is not the one that comprises Hinduism. I
Hmm.
don't, and this is the problem with I see with other people, because if, I said before, Hinduism has no off limits or no go zones, and if something that is completely rejecting those verses can still be considered part of it, people is thinking like, how can this be possible? But like, I'm sorry, the reality is not here to exist to confirm what you think. It is just there, and perhaps we should conform to reality instead of going other way around.
Okay. Here's what I'm seeing right now, based on just elementary glance. Okay, I don't know if any of this
Yeah.
is true, but just on by elementary glance.
Mhm.
Okay, again, this is just Wikipedia, so it might not be true. You have to like actually check the sources here. But what I'm seeing here is, hold on, I don't know how accurate it is. Charvaka is categorized as a heterodox school in Indian philosophy. It's considered an example of atheistic schools in Hindu tradition. Atheistic schools in Hindu tradition. That this is our people. This is our not Hindu. Not this. Not you cannot claim this philosophy. This is people that belong to our these are my tribe. This is my people. Don't steal it away from me.
Mine. It's mine.
No, you're claiming them. I'm claiming them. It says Hindu. Okay, it says atheistic schools in Hindu tradition. It doesn't say Hinduism. Hinduism is like a religion, and it says it's heterodox school of Indian philosophy. What? Why? Okay, so if you want to claim, so why do you? Based on what criteria are you going to claim that this is Hinduism? Just because it came out of India? Is that the only reason why this is Hinduism?
Uh, that's one of that. But do you remember you made a video saying that Sadhguru does not know the difference between atheism and theism? And I have many disagreements with Sadhguru or Jaggi Vasudev, whatever. Um, I will show you one verse that is within Rig Veda. Now, Vedas is very much part of Hinduism. I just wanted to, establish that before I go into that. Do you think Vedas are very much part of Hinduism or not?
Sorry, wait. Videos, yes, that's definitely part of Hinduism. Hmm.
And kind of like, okay, there's an loose argument here that says, you know what, there is no just one particular scripture that comprises what Hindu says. There are multiple ones, but Vedas is kind of like, it's on the top tier, right? In the top tier.
Hmm. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Give me a video.
So we
Give me a
established.
verse.
Yep. I would
Okay.
encourage people that if you take all those problematic verses that was kind of mentioned in a video before very seriously, like when people try to what's the word, whitewash. When people try to whitewash Hinduism, they say, "Oh no, no, no! All those bad words. No, that's not what it means. It means something else." Or
Mm-hmm.
perhaps based on some biases that certain ex-Hindus or neo-atheists have, they say, "You know what? You're trying to make something that is really terrible into something that is good, and that is just, frankly, BS." I don't know if I can say bullshit. Does you still have a problem with that as well?
No, no.
And I said
Okay, we
bullshit.
will. No, no. We'll address Katie. What Katie's saying. Okay,
No, no,
so show me the verse.
yeah,
Oh, you want me to
yeah.
bring Katie's comment?
Nasadiya
Okay.
Sukta.
Oh, cool. Oh, here. Let me. Oh, let me
Yeah,
show your
I'm
screen.
kind of like not able to see Katie's coming. I'm able to see only my.
Your when you share the screen is very pixely, but it's okay. Just tell us what you're saying. What?
So,
It's very
okay.
pixely, but it's okay. Just tell me what you're
You,
showing
you
us.
can't see this.
I can.
Okay,
Oh, I
so
can.
this is
Mm,
Nasadiya Sukta. You can
let
see
me.
this or not? Is it?
Yeah, let me actually bring it up myself because when you're showing it, it's very pixely.
Okay.
Nasadia
Sukta.
Nasadia Suk. Oh my god. God damn it. Okay, here. Nasadia Sukta. Okay, this is. Hold on. Here it is. I'll bring my screen instead of yours.
So I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Okay, what are we looking at here? Nasadia Sukta, also known as the Hymn of Creation, is the 1929th hymn of the 10th mandala of Rig Veda. It is concerned with the cosmology and the origins of the universe. Nasadiya Sukta begins with the statement, "Then there was neither existence nor non-existent." It ponders over the when, why, and by whom of creation in a very sincere contemplative tone, and provides no definite answers. Rather, it concludes that the gods too may not know, as they came after creation, and that even the supervisor of creation in the highest heaven may or may not know. Okay, so
If you go down,
huh? And this is
if you
part
go,
of the Vedas.
if you, yes,
Mm-hmm.
very much so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
I'm so
Let,
happy
let me
when I
t-
see this.
you're so happy. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, if I told
Yes.
you, tell me, like, do you like freedom of expression? Do you believe in freedom of expression? Do you think that's a good value?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, so the value that
Oh,
these Vedas were promoting that I like and I think you like is skepticism, right? This is why you like this. This is something I agree that this is definitely Hinduism. The other thing that you showed me, the Sharvaka, right? I don't think that you could claim that as Hinduism just because it came out of India, okay? But this is from the Vedas. This is from the scripture, so it's definitely part of Hinduism, okay? So I wouldn't deny. I will give you that this is Hinduism, okay? And I would also give you that this is promoting skepticism. And I like skepticism, and you like skepticism, okay? But let's talk about another value that would both of us like, okay? Freedom of expression. I like freedom of expression, right? You also like freedom of expression, okay? What if I told you that there's a leprechaun who lives in my underwear drawer, okay? There's a leprechaun, right, that lives in my closet, okay? And the reason why I like freedom of expression is because I really trust this leprechaun. And this leprechaun believes in the freedom of expression. And that's why I believe in freedom of expression. Do you like that? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
that's kind of like really um, low or not strong enough reason to believe in freedom of expression. That's not a
Oh,
strong
yeah.
reason to believe in freedom of expression.
Perfect, perfect. So based on the same, and it's actually kind of dangerous because maybe we got lucky. We got lucky that I based on this really flawed methodology to come up with values. it just so happens that I believe in freedom of expression because this leprechaun believes it. But what if the leprechaun tomorrow come and told me to murder my parents? Right now, all of a sudden we have a problem. Like maybe you shouldn't congratulate me because I believe in freedom of expression because of this leprechaun. Because the methodology is like a flawed methodology. Maybe you should encourage me to actually believe in freedom of expression because of the results that it produces and makes people, based on the data that we have, that it makes societies run better. So you're like, Armin, maybe that's not a good way to come up to this conclusion, right? And based on the same criteria, do you think, like, if somebody believes in skepticism because they read it in the Vedas, do you think that's a good good methodology, good process to come up that just so happens in this scenario for them to come to the right conclusion of, like, we know skepticism is good, but do you like the process that somebody came to this conclusion based on the Vedas?
Yeah, if someone wakes up and says that, what, I don't like skepticism, but it is written in Vedas, or I like skepticism and it is written in Vedas, that's I'm going to follow it. But then if it comes at a crossroads, let's say don't be skeptical and you like skepticism, then what will you do if you want to still remain consistent with Vedas? That's a problem. That's a dilemma. That's a religious dilemma. Dharam Sankat.
Wait,
Yeah,
can you explain
right?
it? Sorry, you got cut a little bit. Can you repeat again? What do you mean? Elaborate.
So
Yeah.
let's say you like to just elaborate on what you said. Let's say you like skepticism, but
Mm-hmm.
in an let's imagine a hypothesis that Rigveda says don't be skeptical. So
Mm-hmm.
now you think, now I want to be religious, but Veda
Mm-hmm.
says don't be religious.
Okay.
Like says don't
Right.
be skeptical. Says
Skeptic.
don't be
Okay.
skeptical. And now I'm at a crossroad. I say
Right.
I want to be, but this says no.
So what do you do? So what do you
So
do then?
I say then the problem would, yeah. So the problem would come if Vedas are coming again, comprehensive reading, not just cherry picking good and bad parts. Vedas are coming with dogma. If they do, then there's a problem. As you said, dharma is the way, is the life. Then there's just
Mm-hmm.
one thing to do, no other thing. This is the only way.
Right.
Anything else, right? Problem. That's a problem. I say, if you go back to Nasadiya Sukta, please, there is the seventh hymn,
Wait.
sixth and
Okay. No.
seventh.
Like,
If you could read that out.
can we go back to this? Okay. So how do you
Yeah.
decide? How do you decide which part of the Vedas are dogmatic and not good to follow, and which one of them is good and a good teaching that you're supposed to follow? How do you decide that? What metric do you use?
Based on your own moral compass, not from the Rig
Okay, so
Vedas.
what's the point of the Vedas?
If you just find that fascinating, if you find that something is good in it, and it is not coming as a dogma that you follow each and everything within it, then I don't have a problem with that book. I don't
Okay,
even
so
have
the
a problem with
Vedas, so
other.
they, mhm. So you just agreed.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. There's a connection issue. That's why there's a delay. Sorry about that. So you just agreed that the Vedas themselves do not contribute in your metric. It's not a metric that you use to see which values you choose just to uphold and which ones you don't. Okay, you use different
Mhm.
metrics, and then if it's in the Vedas themselves, you're like, oh, like cool, this is in the Vedas, and if it's not, and if it goes against the Vedas, you're like, oh no, I don't like this part. Okay, so,
Yeah,
but
reject.
you also know you reject it, good, but you also know that there's a whole bunch of other group of people that use these Vedas as follow it dogmatically and give it authority and legitimacy as a divine source of inspiration and books that should be used as moral teachings, and you don't agree with that, but you know that, right? So given that your moral
Mhm.
standards don't come from this scripture, why would you venerate, why would you give authority and legitimacy to a text that you don't use as a metric for coming up with your value system, but you know that giving it legitimacy and authority is giving those people that do use it in that way more, it makes it more powerful and more of puts it in a higher position to be misused that way. Why didn't you be like, this is just, why don't you just treat this scripture as just your source of entertainment, or curiosity without putting it on a pedestal as if this has anything to do with moral teach as a legitimate source of moral teachings?
The only reason is that it can be changed, and it already has. That's why.
But why do
So
you need
it is
to?
kind of like,
Hmm. Sorry.
yeah, because
Go
it's
on.
like going to read any philosophical book, any philosophical, like from Greek philosophers, in ancient Hindu philosophers, whatever. If you don't like it, you reject that. You cherry pick whatever you like. You make that. So if it comes with said with a background notion that it is divine and you must follow it, then that's a problem. But if it comes with a baggage like there are problematic things in it, and if you don't like it, you change it, and it is not me saying it. So just one last thing: Arya Samaj has already their own different version of Vedas, and it is not like the words are same. Completely changed those. If you read them side by side, it's like, are these the same books? So they changed Vedas, and I say, why do only they have the rights to change Vedas? I change it even further. But then the question comes: then do the Vedas remain Vedas if they get changed? And I'm just saying, it does not have to be fixed. We never had a problem with them being fixed. We never had a problem with them considering them revelation or commandments. Even though Vedas are considered to be apurushaya, that is, they are considered to be divine revelation, not written by any human being, but from gods themselves. I know that. I know
Right.
that. I'm not saying I don't. But they are not coming with the same kind of dogmatism that we find from other religions. So I would not, it's like same thing Kushal Mehra says. If there is one is cancer and one is common cold, I'm not going to take chemotherapy. Sorry.
Right, right. Okay, so just because it's not as dogmatic as other religions, that doesn't mean it's not dogmatic. If you claim that it has divine revelation, it comes from a divine source, that's dogmatic. Okay, that's already becoming an excuse to make it dogmatic, right?
Just
The fact that
one thing.
go on, go on.
Can you go and please check number sixth and seventh hymn of that. It is kind of like divided in seven,
I
just
will.
sixth and seventh.
Can I just say this before I forget?
Okay, okay.
All right. It's not at all like other philosophical school of thoughts, right? Like other books of philosophy, okay? Just written by that people understand that it's written by humans, okay? When you look at other philosophers coming up with their ideas and you study it, it's completely different from for what you describe. You said that you're not using the Vedas as a measure of what is as a metric of what is right and what is wrong. You're using other sources, and then you're reading the Vedas, and if it agrees with you, it does. It agrees with you, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, when you actually read philosophers and other thinkers' work, is actually for you. You're using it as a metric. You're using it as a way to reshape your understanding of the world, right? If I'm studying a philosopher, I'm not just they're used as a way for you to for you to reshape your understanding of how the world how to do logic and how to analyze things, okay? So they are being used as metric, and rightfully so, because using logic and using logical fallacies, using reason as a way to analyze the world makes sense. Using divine revelation and ancient scripture doesn't make sense, okay? So it's not like other, right? Okay, and also when you're studying other philosophers, it comes with the understanding that this is not divine revelation, so it's less there's less of a danger of it becoming dogmatic, because you understand this is written by flawed human beings, and you apply more skepticism to scripture that is under that people that a huge portion of the population understand as divine revelation. If I say, hey, like I like so and so philosopher, right? I'm not promoting dogmatic, I'm not giving authority or legitimacy to any work that a whole bunch of people consider divine revelation. I'm not adding to the problem, right? So for example, if I say I like reading the Quran, which I do, okay, in a certain way, or the Bible in a certain way, I make it very clear I like reading it as fiction. I like reading it as fiction. I do not use it as a guide to life. Okay? And I think they're both horrible books as guide to life, right? And I think by saying that, I'm not giving the Bible or the Quran. If I say I like reading it as fiction, I'm not adding to the problem. I'm not giving these books that are a source of dogma, which a huge portion of the population see as divine revelation. I'm not giving it more authority and legitimacy than they deserve. But I think you're doing that, even though you don't believe this is divine revelation, by putting it on a high pedestal as if there's any valuable philosophy coming out of this, as if this could be used as a guide to life, knowing that a lot of people see this as divine inspiration, you're adding to the problem. I think.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That was very, generous of you to actually mention that. That was nice. Thank you. Uh,
Sorry. You
no,
wanted me to
no.
show something?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yeah, go. Yeah. Sixth and seventh. This text and translation. Sixth and seventh point. If you could read the translations in English, please.
Okay, but after all, who knows and who can say whence it all came and how creation happened? The gods themselves are later than creation, so who knows truly whence it has risen? Uh, okay, whence all creation had its origin, the Creator, whether he fashioned it or whether he did not, the Creator who surveys it all from highest heaven, he knows, or maybe even he does not know. I mean, I don't like this. This is wrong because even though this assumes that we don't know how the world was created, it is assuming that there is a creator. So there's
I know that.
skepticism. Yeah, so there's skepticism applied to the creation of the world, but the skepticism is not applied to the fact on whether the world even has a creator or not. So this is
Correct.
selective skepticism. So if you want to
Correct.
congratulate that for applying skepticism to some part, you should also condemn it for not applying skepticism to the whole idea of having a creator or not. The
Correct.
creator
I should
is
not just
assumed.
say that. I shouldn't not just say that. You know what, they were skeptical. I should also be, equally condemning on the part that they still consider that to be a creator. But then again, if we take all these problematic verses within Rig Veda, as you mentioned, and other people mentioned as well, not just you particularly, in a video where there is problematic things within Hindu scriptures, and take them literally. I'm just building my case here first. You
Hmm.
must also take this verse very seriously, otherwise you are being not consistent, you're being
No,
inconsistent.
yeah, I do take it, but okay, what are your views on Islam? Can you tell me that?
If I could just finish this one and then I will say that. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Finish this
So
one.
let's take this particular verse to its logical conclusion. Let's take this premise to its logical conclusion. Okay, there is a God. They did not deny that there is a God or there is not God. There is not agnosticism, but there is selective skepticism, as you pointed out. But
Right.
what kind of God is this? Think about it. This God is perhaps not the responsible for creating the universe. So I don't know, but I think it pretty obviously says something about the omnipotence of the God. God can do everything. Here it is doubted. Perhaps God is not omnipotent, but perhaps He is. I agree with the He is part two. There is that as well. But at the same time, I would be also cognizant of the fact that they also thought that the God did not create the universe. And then second part, His omniscience is questioned on. Obviously, I know that there is no God. This is like a very silly argument. I know that. That's obvious. But there is a God whose omnipotence and omniscience is questioned. And if you like, I'm consistent with all the verses that is written in Rig Veda. How much amount of seriousness and dogmatism could I possibly, if I'm being consistent, consistency is the keyword, can provide to all the problematic verses that are within Vedas, and even the good verses within Vedas?
There are no good verses. Can I tell you why there are no good verses in the Vedas?
Yeah.
Because good conclusions with bad methodology are more dangerous than bad conclusions with the wrong methodology. Do you know why? This is why I'm good. This is why I brought Islam. Okay.
Okay.
Do you just can you just quickly tell me what are your views on Islam? Do you like Islam or you don't like Islam? Just yes,
No, no,
like
no. I was
you
not
don't like
like.
Islam. You don't like Islam. Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, but I didn't want to assume though.
Mm.
Did you know Islam is obsessed with taking care of orphans to make sure that they take care of them, right? You know that, right? Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Obviously, that's a good thing. Yes,
That's a
yes.
good thing, right? So my point is that wrong methods, wrong methodologies, right? Like faith, revelation, um, divine inspiration. Um, these methods often give you conclusions that are not very helpful, okay? Because it's not based on understanding of how the world works. It's not based on processes and methods that have proven to give us consistently conclusions or model of the universe that have predictive power, that are the most consistent and give us tech tools and technology that produce, brings people out of misery, right? The most, right? These, so often they give you bad answers. They give you bad answers often, right? But so here and there, I mean, it would be a miracle if they only give you bad answers. It would be almost impossible if any form of dogma or a system of ideas with that much text have nothing but bad ideas. Obviously, even if it was just random values, if you created a random value generator, it will spit out some good things here and there. Like, hey, take care of orphans. I don't know, take care of your neighbor. Be skeptical. Freedom of speech is a good thing. I don't know, something's going to pop out that is going to be good. And I think when something good pops out, those good conclusions are more dangerous than the bad ones, because those good conclusions are then used to
Sugar pill.
legitimize a very flawed methodology.
Sugar coating on a very toxic peel, as you said before.
Yes.
I understand that.
Okay.
But just one question: do you have any, to your knowledge? I'm trying to now read Islam as well and Christianity as well now. I'm starting to. Do you think that within Quran or within Bible, they are questioning
No.
God's omnipotence and omniscience?
No.
No.
Skepticism is not promoted in Islam. Or
Okay.
Christianity. In fact, it's completely the opposite. No, I will give you that. The Vedas seems to be promoting skepticism to some extent, selectively, and that's a good value that I agree with. And Islam and Christianity do not have that. But so what?
Yes, just one thing. I want to add to that.
Okay.
So, if I were to conclude in my own way, this is not deducing. This is just concluding based on obvious and straightforward verse. God's omniscience and omnipotence is questioned. So either you can say that, you know what, he is not, he is, and he isn't. And let's say if you go with that particular version of it, what kind of God we are left with? That's my simple thing.
Does it matter? The fact that it has gods is already makes it nonsensical. The fact that the fact
I
that there is
understand.
a god. Okay. So what's the?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know why. Okay, can you tell me what's the point of focusing on the kind of God instead of the fact that there is
So
even a God?
So when the problematic verses in Vedas come in, and let's say I am a astic darshan, I am just biased based on my birth and based on my circumstances to believe and be very much attached to Vedas. But I find those problematic things within Vedas, treatment of other people, lower caste, upper caste, sorry, only lower caste, out of caste, Dalit, woman, whatever, animal sacrifice, everything. I am, as my own human being, finding my own moral compass based on what I see around everywhere else, based developing my own other sources, my own sources. My head is a source. I think and I have ideas, and I find these problematic things within Vedas, and I'm like, what do I do? This is problematic things within Vedas. I am stuck. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. It's simple thing. I say, you know what? I'll just refer to this Veda, this particular sukta, this particular verse, and say, perhaps you know what? God is nice and all. Yeah, no problem. You want to believe in it, God? Okay, I don't believe it, but then I would be an astika. But let's say I believe in God. But you know what? I think God messed up on this particular verses that are probably very bad. What do you say?
Hmm. Oh, you get
Yeah, okay, give me your arguments and I'll give all those arguments. You're like, this verse is bad, that verse is bad, and that verse is bad. And they're like, Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It is bad. It is bad. So what do we do? Well, you know what? Here, I can go either way. I can question the omnipotence and omniscience of God, and I couldn't. And there is no obligation to do one or the other. So I do the part of questioning it, and I reject those verses. And yeah, I mean, okay, we are being consistent with what is written in Vedas, so there should not be any problem. And okay, then if we have rejected it, then perhaps we will have a new version of it. I don't know, we could call it Rig Veda 2.0 or something. And guess what? Who did that?
Mm.
Arya Samaj did. They had Vishuddh or Shuddh, I don't know what Vedas. And
Okay,
they are very much
let me try this with
and
something
they're
else.
not blasphemers.
Let me try this with another book with you, okay? Let me try this what you did
Okay.
with another book, okay?
Mm.
What are your views on Mein
Okay.
Kampf?
Oh yeah, extremely
You don't
bad.
like
Yeah.
it, right? You don't like it. It's a crappy
Yeah.
idea, right? What if the people, like, we're trying to confront the people who use that book as a guide to their values, right? And I said, like, look, hey, look,
Mm.
let's call him Adolf. Let's not use his last name because YouTube doesn't like that. Okay? Let's say, like, hey,
Okay.
obviously, Mein Kampf could not. There, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to find at least one sentence in this book that is true. One sentence. I don't know where, I don't know what, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure there's one sentence there, right? I'm going to say, like, hey, I'm not following this book dogmatically. I'm just using my own metric to figure out what is true and what is not true. Okay? And Harsh, do you agree with me that this sentence is true? Let's say that sentence is objectively true. Okay? I agree with it and you agree with it, right? So we
I
cannot
must
just,
agree.
yeah, we can't just throw all this away. We just have to keep this book and we should just apply our own reason and just go through it by sentence. And then the parts that is like racist and anti-human, we could be like, okay, I disagree with those parts, but we could still have this book. We could still celebrate this book, and we could just be skeptical about it, and maybe slowly change the parts that we don't like, maybe replace it, and we could still be like, oh, this is a book that we celebrate, but we don't have to follow it dogmatically. We don't have to change our name. We could still be the people that are called the N word, and I'm not gonna say it. We can just reform it, slowly change it. We don't have to throw all of this away, right? And we could just apply yeah, based on, I know I'm not a racist, okay? I don't believe in authoritarianism, I don't believe in fascism, and those are the values that I have came up with based on my own thinking and based on my own understanding. And I'm just going to look at this book objectively, and I'm going to reject the parts that I don't like. I think, Harsh, if I did that, you would come to me like, you're going to say, Armin, are you insane? Why are you keeping this book relevant? Why are you making more people think that this book deserves to be celebrated as a guide to life? If you have objectively came up with this ideas yourself, then throw away the goddamn book. If you want to study it as part of history, study it as part of history, but do not act like this book should have any authority or legitimacy in as a guiding principle in anyone's life. Just because you found something that in it that you agree with it, if you didn't use the book to come to that conclusion, by celebrating this book, by saying like, oh, we don't have to throw out the entire thing, we could celebrate this part and change the other parts, you're making this book remain relevant as a guide to life longer. You're giving it authority and legitimacy. If you want to keep it as part of history and study it as part of history, do it. But do not act like this book should ever be used by anybody as a guide to life. Do you see what my problem is with this methodology?
Yeah.
What do you
Okay.
think?
What if we have? I don't like this idea, but let's say we will go with this analogy. Mein Kampf 2.0, and
Ugh.
we in the
Mm-hmm.
preface we acknowledge, you know what, the previous one was a really shitty one. There are
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, if I were to do quantitative analysis word by word, I am agreement with only 2% of it. Rest 95% is problematic.
Mm-hmm.
This new version rejected all those, and I have filled with, while being consistent with identity, not something that is very much regional to Deutschland or Germany, but something in general that is good, and I have changed the meaning of it. I
Okay.
acknowledge not Mein Kampf 1. I acknowledge I'm not living in a state of denial that this is not Mein Kampf 1.0 or original Mein Kampf. This is
Mm-hmm.
Mein Kampf 2. And I also see you saying that, are you like, do you have something
Mad.
here or not? Why use Mein Kampf? Like, you know what? There are really a good other titles. I know that, man. I know. And this is really good that there are not many people following Mein Kampf. But like in an alternate universe where there are many Nazis and we can't, get rid of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We
It's
can't use
okay.
that word.
Say naughty. Say naughty people. Okay, we'll go on.
Okay. Nana people, and we can't get rid of them. So this would be my solution to that. I know it would be difficult. I know it would be insane. I know that all. That is very obvious for me. But I'm just saying, if I were to, simple small steps to gradualism to the state I am, I would use that step here.
Okay, so but you don't see a problem with the fact that you are using that title and using that name in in the version 2 of this book, even though it has very little to do with version 1, even though you change most of it, even though you're using your reason instead of following the book 1 into deciding what's good and what's bad. You don't see a problem with using the title of the first book that helps legitimatize and normalize and give authority to the dominance and to the influence of the first book. You don't see a problem with using, don't you think like that's a bad idea, that you should completely just reject the first book and just come up with saying a book with a new title that is just based on reason, that it has nothing to do with the first book at all? Don't you think that's a better thing to do?
That's a better thing to do, but I am kind of trying to be practical. I hope it would be, as good as I think, but reality, unfortunately, as I see it, is not that simple and easy. I wish it would be.
Actually, actually, if you look at reality, okay, um, we can see that the people who actively just go against values like this have been responsible for more progress than the people that are constantly trying to reform, reform, reform. The people who are trying to reform are responsible for keeping these ideas from dying. They have made their death slower, right? For
And
example, if you want to look at what happened with Christianity in Western Europe, the people who were reforming Christianity were not responsible for the reduction of the influence of Christianity. Those are the people who managed to keep its influence longer. The people who managed to put Christianity on the back seat, who managed to make it go in a defense mode, were the Enlightenment thinkers, the people who were aggressively anti-Christian. Okay, the reforming that was in response to the Enlightenment thinkers, the people who were anti-Christian. Okay, those reform movements were not there because they wanted to make Christianity more humanist or more in line with modern thinking. They were the people who wanted to make sure that Christianity does not die. That's why we don't want the reform movement. We want Christianity and Islam to die. Okay, so even though the reformations are a reaction to like Enlightenment thinkers, that doesn't mean that that's something we celebrate. We understand that that's a reaction to Enlightenment thinkers, but if the defense mechanism was not there, their death would have been earlier. The people that have forced Christianity or Islam to pretending that they're something that they're not are the people who are actively taking a position against these religions. Not the people, none of these religions ever voluntarily went in and changed from within. If they ever pretended to change, it was always in a reaction to people who were challenging it from the outside, not from the inside. Okay? So even if you're interested in seeing more reform like this, then you have to join my side, which is from outside aggressively taking a position against these dogmatic ideas, not from inside. From inside, the people who are making this reform from inside, that's only in response to the challenges of people from the outside, right? Why do you think right now Hinduism say like, oh yeah, Hinduism is scientific, oh yeah, it's not anti-woman, it's not anti-this? Do you think because Hinduism like voluntarily decided that, oh yeah, these are better values, we should just evolve because this is a good thing to do? Or do you think this is all a defense mechanism against the people who are challenging Hinduism as a backward idea that is keeping humanity behind and the rest of the world is moving on? This is in response to anti-dogmatic views. right? This is in response to people challenging these ideas, saying that they're backward and barbaric and violent and do not deserve in the modern world. That's why the reform is happening. So even if you're interested in seeing more of that, then put your energy in the force that is encouraging more of that, which is anti-Hinduism. Not reforming Hinduism, it's anti-Hinduism that even encourages changes like that. And you want pragmatic? This is what history has shown. This is what history has shown with Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism. Why is it that only since the Enlightenment movement, Hinduism is all of a sudden saying like, oh yeah, we love science, we love skepticism. Like, when was that a highlight? Right? Like, oh yeah, look at the Vedas. Like, was those verses always being highlighted as something to be celebrated in the Vedas, or is it only when the rest of the goddamn world decided that these are good values, all of a sudden Hindus are jumping around and trying to find those verses to highlight, right?
But then
That's a reaction to these values. Why is it? Here's the thing: if all of a sudden the world was deciding, tell me this: if the world right now was celebrating wife beating, wouldn't you bet right now that the Hindus that are now going and finding the verses that is celebrating, I don't know, skepticism, wouldn't they right now be going out and highlighting? Right now they're saying the wife beating parts of Vedas, right? The scripture, Hindu scripture. Oh no, those are not important. But the skepticism part, they're saying, oh yeah, those are the important, those are good, okay? But I'm pretty sure if the world was celebrating wife beating today, then they would be like, oh yeah, those wife beating verses. Part of the Hindu scripture. Those are, look, we have that. Oh, you like wife beating? We have wife beating, okay? So this is a reaction to the rest of the world moving into a direction. It's not because is a change that is happening organically in between. This is a defense mechanism to the rest of the world changing and Hinduism trying to remain relevant. Do you see what I mean?
I do, but I have disagreements because this part that you say, Christianity required reformation from outside, not from within, and if people trying to do it from within was slowing down that process. I agree that because only Christianity was not very contemplative and self-doubting, and I see this kind of forget me for insinuating any bad intentions, but I see that they need to neo-atheist, ex-Hindus, or whatever. They need that narrative in order to bash Hinduism. Because if they don't, and if they actually remaining consistent, in my opinion, acknowledge those skeptical part along with the bad part, I'm not saying that. I agree with the part that you say, let's focus on skepticism and ignore that. I'm not saying ignore that. Acknowledge that and get rid of that. That was my saying. But they need to distance those skeptical parts of Hinduism as not part of it. Only then they can criticize it. And here's what I written in my tweet. If I were to just go,
we have only 3 more minutes.
Yeah, just last tweet. I just wanted to share. Yeah.
Okay. Show me. Oh no, that's on my screen. Share your screen.
Oh. Why is it not sharing? Just one moment.
Click on share screen.
Share screen.
What does this mean? Armin met. Okay, I'm gonna look at the live chat while you do that. This is
no,
Armin.
that means Armin. No, come on, man. MF. No, that. Forget that.
Okay.
I'm not in the mood of that now.
Okay, you just focus on finding the tweet. I'm just gonna highlight some. There were some other insults said me in the live chat. Let me find the other insults.
Okay, now sorry, I made a very foolish mistake. Can I see that? I'll just quickly do that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I'll bring it. Hold on.
I think I made a request for sharing my screen.
Yeah, I know. It's coming. There you go. Ooh, Fatima's here. It means mother affair. Alright, okay. What are you showing? It's kind of pixely.
This one.
Okay, you have to read it.
Is pixely?
Oh no, I see it. Okay, I see it. Okay, what are you saying? I feel like for woke anti-theists who say Sanatan Dharma is just like Abrahamic religion. For them, Dharma would be like cancer. No matter what you do, it will mutate and adapt to everything they will hit it with. Due to their prejudgment, it will be perceived as a bad thing. Um, well, I don't know. I mean, that's
And
not.
this,
I didn't suggest that this is at all like Abrahamic religions. So, so I don't know what that is referring to.
I tweeted it like on
Uh,
September 12th, and I saw a
mhm.
tweet that when someone says that you replied back saying that Sanatan Dharma is same as Abrahamic religion, same
Yeah,
shit,
I said that.
different pile. So it was in
Oh yeah,
response
no,
to that kind of.
I said that about Hinduism as a whole. Oh wait, was I referring to something
Yeah.
that specifically? Oh yeah, that was because there was something in the video that was describing a certain attribute about Dharma. That at that point, I don't remember that what it was, but it was very similar to something in Abrahamic religion. So I wasn't generalizing because there was something very specific that I was addressing. Um, so I don't remember what that
This
specific thing was. Okay, for
yeah,
me,
this
that same thing will be perceived as good for Dharma. It evolves, amends, and becomes compatible with more sensible schools of thought. Just because Dharma ain't rigid, and while being true to itself, it can overcome what Abrahamic religions could. Dharma doesn't mean anything, to be fair, honest. Like it's just like the way you could, it's just like actually Dharma. One similarity between Dharma and Abrahamic nonsense is like there are these words that are so vague. Oh yeah, you know what? I remember. I think I remember what Dharma sounds like to me in Islam. In Islam, there's a thing called Sirat al-Mustaqim, the right way, the right
mhm,
way. Okay, and
yeah.
I mean, what that right way is up to interpretation to a lot of people or based on scripture. But to me, to people that there is a right way for everybody, to me that sounded very Abrahamic, right? That to me that suggested like, oh, here the mandated right path that we have ordained for everybody, and that is coming from divine revelation. I was like, yeah, that sounds exactly like Islam to me. So that was very similar to me. So how is that not similar?
Yeah, and based on that, I agree.
Oh.
But then there is a
Oh.
very equally popular concept. If you go on regional down to the person, you meet to the person. There is something called swadharma, your own dharma,
Mm.
and that could be dependent on your own likings, and that is like then it would be problematic. If it is a dogma, then swadharma would be a problem for it because everyone would have their own, and it
Mm.
is not
But
seen
this
as
whole
a
I
problem,
yeah,
and it is
but you
actually
agree
celebrated.
that Dharma. But last point because we already went over an hour. Do you agree that the whole idea of Dharma is used as a way to sell the idea that caste and there's a right way for you and this is your path and you have to follow this path. This is like come down the paths that come from down from God to you and you have no choice but to. I mean you have yeah, not only those values comes from Hinduism. You even have stories based on that. Like, oh, you're a warrior. You should do warrior things. You cannot do other things other than warrior things. Like, dude, like this is your dharma. Like, you can't. You wanted to go be like a baker? No, screw that. You are a warrior caste. You kill people, and you can. And it teaches you that you have to go kill people. It doesn't matter if you kill good people or bad people. You just have to follow your dharma. And you should just go kill people. I mean, that's a concept in Hinduism that is comes right directly from Dharma. Like this is your path. You follow your path. You follow the path that has been,
And
um, right. Go on.
if I were to just can I ask for permission of a monologue of 2 minutes, and then we can finish. I'll have you the
Two
last word.
minutes. Go. 2 minutes. You go. No, no. You have the
So
last
for
word.
Dharma,
2 minutes.
yeah. Oh, thank you. So caste system is a problem. I have just this one meme to share. If you can see it, please. So this is what this meme is. If you can read it, that's what I'm have opinion on
It's
caste system.
it's very pixely. Can you send me the link?
I
Can you
will send
just
you
read it for
it.
us?
Okay,
Just read it.
the meme says, I'm a Brahmin when I read and teach my kids. I'm a Kshatriya when I shield and protect my family. I am a Vaishya when I am managing my house, running it to provide the best for my life. I am a Shudra when I clean house and do menial jobs at home. I am in one, I am all, I am a Hindu. I know
Okay.
there's a problem. I am not living in a state of denial. I see there was caste system or Varna
This is
Vyavastha or Jati Vada. I know that.
this is not Hinduism.
That
This is your made up religion.
yeah. Yeah, I know. The money in Manusmriti they divided it and they said that this is fixed. But before that, I'm of believing that it wasn't. But then I can reject Manusmriti by very much the verses within it. So that was my to remain consistent with my claim that I can use Sanatan Dharma to reject those verses within it. But then we have all obvious disagreement with it. That's fine. And then just last thing,
You know I could do
if
that
not
with
anything
Islam
else,
as well. You know I could you could like oh I could say that
not
jihad on infidels, beheading infidels. That doesn't mean like to me when I think I'm doing something bad, when I want to do and steal or say something bad behind my friend's back or manipulate somebody, that is the unbelief, that's the disbelief within my heart that is growing, okay? And when the Quran when the Quran asks you to behead those, to kill the disbelievers, that is the source of, I'm just making this up as we go right now. I've never heard this before, okay? That is all of these negative feelings, that is the disbelief, that is your lack of belief your God, that is your iman, your faith being weakened, and that is the disbelief fight winning over your belief. And when I win over that, when I crush that disbelief that is making me feel making me steal, making me want to like manipulate people, make me want to do something bad, when I crush that desire, when I crush that feeling, that is me slaying disbelievers. Okay, so when the Quran says like go and kill the disbelievers, that is what I think. That's how I feel. That is my Islam. See how I could do that with anything? I could do that with anything. You could get the most barbaric, violent, cursed ideas out there, and you just give me 5 minutes, and I will use my imagination, and I could make it seem like the best, most beautiful thing out there.
just one thing to say on that. In one approach for one religion, if you do that, you would be on the losing side of the theological argument. If you do it for dharma, you won't be on the losing side of the theological argument. That's my only take on it. And
Okay,
just one last suggestion.
I let you. Okay,
and
go on. Last thing.
and can you see my screen?
Oh, here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just see this one video. It was 2 years ago. It was in response to your podcast with Zubin Monad and Ali Rizvi. And
Mm-hmm.
if you just see, no review, no obligation, again, just a suggestion, just a choice.
Okay.
Only if you have time. If you don't have time, don't watch it.
How about they just come and talk to me? Wouldn't that be better?
That would
Like
be
we have a
also
chat.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a live stream with them. Okay, if you can arrange that, that would be great. Okay, but
I don't know.
okay. No, but I'm open to having these discussions with people. But hey, Harsh, I
Yeah.
really do admire you though. Like you're open to these discussions. I don't care. Here's the thing: the fact that we could be having these discussions with each other matters more to me than me or you being right or wrong. Okay,
No, yeah.
that doesn't. I think that's a secondary thing, right? I could be right, you could be wrong. Anything is possible, but the more important thing is that we could be friendly about it, and we could like look at all these other morons going after each other. They're like swearing at each other. They hate each other guts because they simply have disagreements. They take disagreements too seriously. Okay, me and you. I think it doesn't matter if some people listen to me. Some people agree with me. Some people agree with you. I think that doesn't really matter. I think the main thing that matters right now is that we don't hate each other. I like you, okay?
We can have
And
a
we can,
discourse. Yeah.
yeah, we can have a discourse. I think like taking like that's showing that to people is more important than convincing somebody who agrees with you to agree with me, or convincing somebody who agrees with me to agree with you, changing minds like that. I think demonstrating that me and you disagree and we're able to have a civil conversation about it, that is a more important conclusion to take out of these conversations, I think.
Yeah. And just last, I will just quote shlok, ekam satya vipara bahuda vadante. Whatever the truth is. Whatever it is, it's not going to change. That's objective. We can disagree and agree on what we interpret or what we understand about it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, good. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna end this stream here.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody in the live chat. I'm gonna